All right, here we are for session 4. We're on session 4 now.
Every time.
We need a nap. All right, we're on session 4. We're gonna do some zippers. All right, so we're gonna start with the center zipper. We're on page 18 of the Bernina Accessories workbook. And there are several feet that we're gonna talk about here. So we have the 4D is the foot that came with the 790. If you have a non-dual feed machine, you would have just the 4. The 14D is the one, and we're not actually going to use this, but I'm going to show you. Do you have a little screwdriver handy? We're going to show you how you use this. So if you were worried that you could not easily get a nice straight even seam next to your zipper, so the way this thing works is let me see if I can put that down where you can see it. The little guide right here runs right over the teeth of your zipper, and that's how you stay straight on that. Now that little guide is adjustable, so there's a little screw right there that you would loosen that up and move your guide to where you needed it to be. So if you wanted to stitch real close to the teeth of your zipper, no, I think that's tight, there we go. Then you would move that guide, and then that would just, you'd stitch real close. Am I on it? Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't tell from this angle. Anyway, this little guide is what you're going to adjust.
So it moves back and forth.
Yeah, so you can move this back, and you can sew on either side of this.
And you can make it the depth that you want that
right
stitch.
So how far away you want your stitch from the teeth of your zipper. But that is what this is for. We're not actually going to use this today. This is also a D foot, by the way. And this is available in the Teflon version, so the green coated one. So if you had, why would you use the Teflon? If you were putting it on slicker fabric.
Yeah.
Or
something like that.
Leather, maybe?
It may be leather, but and I don't think it is a D foot. I think it is the green
You're
one
right,
is just
it's
a
not.
regular.
You're right, it's just a regular foot, it's not a D foot. So anyway, that's what the 14D is. It works the same way as the 4D, it just has that extra little guide there. So what we're gonna use is the 4D. And we are going to put in a regular, when I mean regular, I mean a non-invisible zipper, which is this guy. Okay, so the first thing she's going to do,
I am going to, I've got in my 1D foot, and I am going to do a 5/8 inch seam. I put 2 pieces, let's say this is my back of my dress or whatever. I'm putting those 2 pieces together, and I am going to do a 5/8 inch seam, and I'm going to take it all the way up to my 6 millimeter length of stitch.
because
So I'm basting. And I probably don't want that little, it wants the feed dogs up.
That would be helpful.
That would help. Okay, so, and just kind of, because it wants to, that's a big stitch. So I'm just lining it up with my 5/8 inch guide on the side. And then you're going to press open. So I'm just going to finger press that. Look at how big that seam is. We're so used to a quarter.
Yeah, quarter inch, that's huge.
This is a big mama. I'm just going to finger press this so that it's open. But you would press this on your machine or on your iron. So, wow.
You could press it on your machine, I guess,
Yeah,
if
it
you
wouldn't
wanted
work
to.
well. Okay. So I have my top of the zipper is even. And the thing that for years I put a zipper in using just the regular Bernina foot. This is a game changer with the dual feed when you're putting in a zipper. It is when you would be putting in a zipper.
You get one this way.
Yeah, and then and it was really bad if you had a waistline because then the waistline would be
Like this.
down. So I'm going to take off my D foot, and I will put on my 4D. Okay, now if you notice, this is that needle's right there in the center. So you've got to decide right away to move that needle over. And depending on how far you want your zipper, I usually like to stitch the zipper right on the other side, like right in down the middle of this.
I have a thing about, you always have that little shiny place right there.
Uh-huh.
I always try to stitch on that little shiny place.
Right
I don't
here.
know why.
And you know, the secret is to find the place that you like, and set it up. So I would definitely, if we're going to go on this side, you would need to adjust your stitch, the needle, to go right where.
Your dual feed.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I would set my zipper down, and then I am going to decide if that's right where I want. I think that I can go maybe one, I think even another one we can do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line the teeth up.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have our 4D selected. We selected our straight stitch, and she has moved her needle over into +3 position, or right 3.
I also started with the tab up above because I don't want that in.
Most garment patterns, they have you buy a zipper slightly larger than you're actually
A little bit
use.
larger, and what you're going to do is that you wouldn't go all the way down, because you can stop, you know, at a certain place and sew across if they're the plastic teeth.
Right.
If you've got metal teeth, you can't. All right, so I'm going to start. My foot is really kind of being right up against the edge of this zipper. And I'm going to go ahead and start. That looks good.
Okay, she's lining up the teeth right with that seam, obviously.
Yep, right along the edge of that seam.
If you get it over, then when you take out your basting stitches, things will close strangely. So you want to get it right in the seam.
It used to be that you'd have to baste, even if you basted it, it never came out even. Okay, now I'm going to raise my foot. And I want to zip this up a little bit.
Why are you doing that, Lori?
So that I can sew across. And that's what I'm saying with,
If you sewed across and your zipper pull was on the bottom, what would happen?
you wouldn't be able to zip your zipper.
And isn't that the weirdest feeling, knowing that
Yes.
you're sewing over a zipper?
Yeah, it really is. All right, now I'm going to lift up.
Okay, what's your number?
And I'm going to look to see. Now, do you see how I'm over too much? So I need to go back here and I need to do a back stitch.
With the birds.
Let's see how that is.
Got it on the long arm and about halfway done, so I don't know if I get it done for the weekend.
And that looks pretty good. So I can actually almost take this all the way up because I didn't, and I'm laying that flat on there.
And keep everything flat, but you're not going to have a poop when you take out your basting stitches.
We're hoping. And there we are. Let's go ahead and cut it. And there's my zipper. It's a little wobbly, a little bit here and there.
Not enough that anybody's going to notice when
No.
you're wearing it.
Nope. And then you're going to take out your basting.
I can remember being so proud when I got a zipper in straight. I used to make a lot of clothes.
It was fun. Clothes was fun.
And then it got to where clothing was so cheap to buy that,
It didn't pay.
yeah. It used to be back when I was, you know, whatever, 20.
Well, my mom didn't sew, but my mom got me started in 4-H. And when I was in about 8th grade, she started taking me. In Ottawa, there was a store called Carson Peary Scott's, and they had a beautiful fabric department in the basement. And they would, I would go down there each season of school, like this fall, and then into spring. And Mom would say, pick out what you want to make. And I would end up making all my wardrobe.
Yep, fun.
So there you are. There's your zipper.
And it looks pretty good.
And that looks pretty darn good.
Yep.
Now I might go ahead and I would enlarge my stitch a little bit. I like it a little bit
Or you could use a
larger.
heavier,
heavier
thread.
thread.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
On that.
But that's how simple it is to put a zipper in. I mean, it really is
It's very
nothing
simple.
to it. So, and that lays perfect. So,
You take your squiggles out.
yeah, well, that's where you have your tweezers.
Yeah. Or your eraser head, seam ripper.
Yep. So, there you are.
Pretty
That's the
easy.
zipper.
All right. Now, here, put that back before I lose that. Thank you. All right, here we have, this is the number 35 foot. So this is the other zipper foot that we have. And this zipper foot is made for invisible zippers. So you'll see on the bottom of it where your teeth go right in there. And we don't have an invisible zipper.
No. And yet, and you just actually follow the directions on the package.
Yeah.
It'll go step by step. With an invisible zipper, you don't sew the seam. You wait until that zipper is all in, and then you sew the seam up to the zipper point. So it's a neat foot to have if you're doing that kind of garment sewing.
I have put an invisible zipper in.
On what?
Skirt.
Yeah. I
But
love
I
the
did
looks
it with
of them.
a zigzag foot.
Oh, did you? Well,
I had
you
a singer.
can. Yeah.
You know, they didn't make feet
No,
like these.
they didn't.
I mean, that was a long time ago. Anyway, this foot would make it a heck of a lot easier because it
Yeah.
would keep it straight.
It would.
But anyway.
Because you have to press that seam, those teeth, you press it flat. And
Right.
The whole thing. So.
And based and
Yeah.
all that business. Yeah.
Right.
But the directions are in here for you to do this. But we are slacking because we don't have an invisible
And
zipper.
if you want to put an invisible zipper in, because Lisa's done it, so you could show them.
It's easy.
Yeah. All right.
Easy. There is basting involved though.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. how about sewing hook and loop tape on? Hook and, or Velcro, as the rest of us like to call it. Velcro. So why would we have Velcro on something? It could be the back of a pillow cover to hold it together.
Could be a purse.
Could be a purse.
This, you know, to hold the purse together.
Doll clothes.
Yeah.
What else would you use it for?
Hmm.
My mom made me, when we were in the dorms, we had open shelving, and she made this
The skirt to go around this.
and
Yeah.
you put it on with Velcro. Mhm.
Well, I just did it at the church. I made a skirting to go around the sound booth, and I used Velcro.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we are going to use foot number. Did you get it out?
Uh-huh.
Or did
What's
I get
that?
it? Here. We're going to use foot number 38. Foot number 38.
And I've never used 38. I just used the regular, but that'd make it really nice.
You'll see at the bottom of this
Yeah.
foot, one side is higher than the other, so you're not going to have to worry about the bulk of that
in here.
bugging you. So you'll be
Yeah.
able to get a really nice edge stitch on that, which is where you want. You don't want to stitch in between the loops. You want to stitch on the edge of it. And that's what that's for.
great.
Okay.
All right.
So, piping foot number 38, we're in center needle position. And we're going to choose that foot. For those of you who have machines that need you to choose it.
Yeah. Okay, 38 right here.
Okay, we should have some stabilizer for this.
And I do.
Okay.
Have it right here.
She's very prepared. Okay, then you're going to take your whichever side you're...
It likes to stick.
It's sticky. Put that on one side. Okay.
So I
The
would
thin part of the
want-
foot will sit on the tape. The thick part sits on the fabric.
Okay, so
No,
we will.
you had it right. You had it right.
The thin part sits on the tape,
The
isn't?
thin part's the right side.
Okay.
And then your needle's going to come down right at the edge. So you're going to line up the thin part with the tape part. You know what I'm saying? The loopy part.
So like this.
So that will, and that should position your needle to stitch right along the edge.
So this left foot
Is on the
is just
fabric.
right, and it's just running right alongside the edge of that.
Okay, so then you sew all the way around the edges, like all the way around. So on this you would sew like a rectangle. You're gonna go down the end, and then back up the other side. And you just pivot at the corners like you normally would. There you go. Look at how slick that is. So this foot is actually a piping foot, but that's one more use. And it's nice to be able to use these feet for something more than just one function. But there you go.
Well,
Look
and
how
that's,
easy that
that is where your the big book of feet come in, because
Yeah.
you can see.
Tells you everything. you
Yeah,
need,
it's pretty cool. I turned off your hover.
I see that. She always turns my hover function off. I love the hover function. She hates it. There you go. See how slick that is?
Oop, I got it.
Yeah, you're right on the very edge. But we get the idea.
Yeah.
Pretty nice, pretty nice. And that foot, because of that thickness on that one side, it just makes it a little bit easier to do that. And then you're ready to go. You can use your hook and loop tape, and you're hooked and looped.
Now, I gotta ask you, do you think you could use a 10D foot to do that?
And move your needle position.
Uh-huh.
No, but the 10D foot is even on both sides.
Right.
So the loops would be thicker on one side and the fabric would be lower.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be
tilted.
You'd be pressing harder on your loop. I mean, could you? Yes, you
Right,
could do it with a
right.
1. But it'll push your loops, so it'll try to
Right,
push your
right.
tape.
Oh,
because
out of the
it's-
way.
Yeah, because the
yeah.
presser foot pressure is too much on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could you? Yes. If you like pinned it or something.
Right. Well, yeah, but
Yeah, I would use that because how slick was that?
yeah, this was nice. So,
Yeah.
if you were doing like a lot of doll clothes and stuff, that would be
So,
a nice foot
yeah.
to have.
Absolutely.
All right. What's
Okay.
next?
Well, I think that's it for this one because we're getting into hems and edges next.
Ooh,
So
okay.
that will be episode 5. We will do some hems and edges for episode 5.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.